O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show. This.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. It's time for Dolphins football. Welcome to the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins Pregame Show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. EJDConstruction.com is a fully insured liability and workers' comp. Call Eric if you need a custom home builder or general contractor. 305-433-4843. Here's your host, the Big O.
All righty. Good morning. How you guys doing? I hope you're all hanging in there. I hope you got some sleep, right? Because it's almost impossible on a day like today, because you don't want to turn in so early on Saturday, and like we had to hang in there and watch that just another garbage performance by Mario Cristobal and his staff. It's like you got to start paying me to watch this shit. Seriously, like I didn't even do a post game because we had this game so early, and I'm just, why am I going to waste my voice on this buffoonery that goes on? So it's hard to even get sleep, right? Because you're also freaking jacked for this game. You know, it's one of those things. You go to sleep and you can't freaking wait for this game. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Those of us that are real fans, you know what the hell I'm talking about. It's like you go to sleep and all you do is think about the damn game. And you're like, damn, I can't wait. Can they get past this test? You know what I'm saying? But just to kind of dedicate a moment, because, you know, I'm not on till tomorrow. So, and it's a couple days later and it's fresh from last night. Mario Cristobal continues to prove to me he's a fantastic man. He's a great recruiter. He's a super hard worker. He's a good dude. Brother, he can't coach for shit. Now, I'm sorry, but him and Al Golden and Randy Shannon and Manny D, there ain't no fucking difference. Sorry for the French. Pardon me for the French. But there isn't a damn bit of difference between Mario Cristobal and those guys. And I know he does everything else well. He's not a good game day coach, bro. He's just not a good game day coach. His teams are constantly unprepared. I mean, why would I do a post-game show yesterday? It was like it's like watching Chris Greer make trades. Low-hanging fruit all the time. You know, and it's getting boring to rip Mario Cristobal all the time that his coaching sucks. Okay? I already told you what's going to happen, right? I told you. I told you this. Was it last week or the week before, Sean? I don't know if you made a segment out of it. What I think is going to end up happening, Mario will then recruit his ass off. You'll wait about 4 or 5 years into his tenure. He'll load it up with a bunch of talent, and then you fire his ass and you go get the guy that's the difference maker. Since the program is set, it's loaded with talent. It's got all kinds of 4 and 5 stars, all that bullshit. You then go and since you can't fire them now because you have so much salary to eat and they can't afford to do that, they'll wait 4 or 5 years in. So we're going to have to deal with it. Like I told you before, ask a Tennessee Titans fan. I know nobody here pretty much follows unless we have like a Dolphins fan that lives in Tennessee and also follows the Titans or something. It would only be the only person that can really back me up on this. Watching Mario Cristobal coach the Canes is like watching Mike Munchak coach the Tennessee Titans. Like you knew it wasn't going anywhere. You knew it was just an offensive lineman with his conservative ways and heavy on the run game, not enough on the pass, not enough creativity, all that. And it doesn't matter who coaches under Mario because it's the same shit we used to suffer as Dolphin fans with Dave Wanstead. You can bring whatever offensive coordinator you want. They might be really offensive-minded and all that, but if you're coaching under a conservative coach, you will always be conservative. That's just the way it is, dude. That's the way it's always been. So, the Mario Cristobal thing is getting old really fast. Really fast. Because there's nothing more incompetent than watching a coach constantly lose to teams who have less talent. That tells me your coaching sucks. Okay? And as for one of my favorite dudes out there, SoCal Derek, okay? Because apparently SoCal Derek doesn't really follow the timeline, doesn't follow the show, apparently doesn't listen to all the rip jobs on Mario. Apparently he doesn't listen that I said last year Mario Cristobal owns the worst year in UM history. The worst coaching year I've ever seen was Mario Cristobal last year. Okay? But SoCal Derek, who's, I always have these run-ins with Derek. You know why? He lives in California. Half the time he doesn't know what happens in his own state. I know more of what happens in his own state than he does. And so I see Caleb Williams, crying at the end of the USC game, right? SoCal Derek is still about 14 years old. No, I'm sorry. SoCal Derek is still about 9 years old because he pulled a 9-year-old prank on me, okay? So I see, Caleb Williams crying there with his mom after the game, and I said, USC, still soft off after all these years. You know what SoCal Derek's return was? This is a fucking 9-year-old here, okay? Well, what about your UM? You remember when you were like 9 and you called somebody a name and they said, I know you are, but what am I? You remember that? That's SoCal Derek. Like he thought he was going to hurt my feelings by saying that UM is also soft. Yeah, they've been soft for 20 years, Derek. I'm willing to admit that. Apparently, you get all butthurt because you heard that UFC is soft. I know you are, but what am I? SoCal Derek. That's how SoCal Derek argues. I know you are, but what am I? Come on, dude. Come on. This is the show that will tell you that the Dolphins had a fraudulent performance against the Bills. So I take shots at my Canes all the time because Mario Cristobal has been a fucking joke when it comes to coaching. He lost to Middle Tennessee State. He lost to Georgia Tech. And last night he lost to NC State. The coach on the other side is 100 times better as an X's and O's guy than Mario. But SoCal Derek, I know you are, but what am I, is not a discussion. And it's not an argument on this show or on the timeline, my brother. And you're not going to hurt my feelings when we actually talk about the truth, that your USC Trojans are a bunch of frauds, just like the University of Miami. Big deal, bro. What you're supposed to answer is, you're right, dude, my USC Trojans suck. Not, hey, your UM2 sucks. What are you, bro, 9 years old? 8? 7.5? I mean, that's not the that's the argument we used to use when we were, when I was minus 50 and I was 7. When I'm 57. I take 50 away. I know you are, but who am I? That's when I was 7, Derek. I love you, brother, but, the butthurt stuff, that shit don't fly here, dude. That don't fly here, bro. Oh my God! Yeah, you're dying. I'm dying laughing watching SoCal Derek's little emotional ass. Oh my God! He hurt my USC. Oh my God! What about your UM? Yeah, what about my UM, bro? They suck. So what? I'd say it all the time. Big deal. It's not an NFL pregame show. It's the EJD Construction Miami Dolphins pregame show driven by Orlando Alzugaray, who talks about whatever the hell he wants to talk about, dude. If you haven't learned the rules on this platform, you don't run the show. I run the show. Got that? Good. I love these people. Are we going to talk about that? I got 2 hours. I got plenty of time to talk about the Dolphins and Kansas City, but I had to get my pain off my chest from last night, and I have to. When you've watched Shula, when you've watched Ron Frazier, Fern Labate, Danny Price, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, Mike McDaniel, you see coaches that know how to make a difference in a player's life. You know how you see Mike McDaniel from week to week, and he schemes stuff to put his players at an advantage. That's what Mario Cristobal cannot do. I see it with McDaniel every week. Is he perfect? No. Sometimes he doesn't have answers for some of the stuff in game. We've talked about it. We're willing to talk about the faults of our own teams. You know what I'm saying, SoCal Derek? And so it's one of those things that, you see, and Mario just doesn't have it. And that's why today is so interesting, because it's stages that we're watching, right? Clearly, Mike McDaniel has been able to establish a culture. He has connected with players. He's connected with you, the fans. He's connected with the media, the German media and everything, everybody. He's left an impression on everybody, right? So far, he has reached people with his words, with his mind, with his scheming, all of that. He has shown you. You saw Tua with no coaching, no leadership around him, barely any talent. Now you watch a coach come in, allows the front office to do what they need to do. Then all of a sudden the front office is doing their job. The coaches are developing the talent. The atmosphere is different, and then from week to week, we watch Mike McDaniel, develop an offense. People are stealing plays off of him now, all of that. So he's leaving an impression on everybody. Not just like we talked about media and fans and his own players, but now the rest of the league. You know what I'm saying? So this is all part of the process. And today's a great, there's a couple of things that we need to see from Mike McDaniel and his team. We need to see them cross that threshold of beating elite teams. The thing that only Shula could do. Remember that now. Mike McDaniel's trying to do what Jimmy Johnson couldn't do, what Dave Wanstead couldn't do, what Cam Cameron couldn't do, what Joe Philbin couldn't do, what Adam Gase couldn't do, what Flo couldn't do. None of these coaches could beat elite teams on a consistent basis. In fact, none of these all of these coaches barely even beat elite teams. Of course, it's the NFL. Once in a while, you're going to surprise an elite team. Even the worst team in the league can surprise an elite team. The sun shines on every dog's butt every once in a while. So that's a threshold that we're watching. We need our franchise to cross. Okay, no matter what McDaniel says and how he downplays it. Okay, downplaying it doesn't mean anything to me whatsoever. All right, at all. Downplaying it when he does it this week, well, if we win, we're going to the Super Bowl. If not, we can't be elite. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter. It matters. It matters on everything. Because if you can't beat elite teams, the NFL, when they're scheduling primetime games the following year, they're going to say, well, these guys are, they're kind of frauds. They never really win the elite games. You're not going to get them. But when you're Shula and you're constantly beating the elite teams, then they're going to put you on that Monday night. You know what I mean? Like, it used to only be Monday night. No Sunday, no Thursday, none of that back in the day. Just ask your dad, ask your grandfathers, ask your uncles. They'll tell you. And that's a threshold that McDaniel has to get to. The other threshold he needs to get to is when you get stifled, you need to answer back. He has failed to do that already a couple of times this year. And today, what happens in the first half if Kansas City stumps you and is figuring out what you're doing? Do you answer? These are two things that this young coach has to figure out. Remember, he already did something that a lot of these, like, remember Philbin and Flo couldn't build staffs? He's able to build a staff. That's something that others couldn't do in the past. So he can do that. And as a young coach, he has a couple of things that he has to cross over. One, that threshold for the whole team that, hey, you need to become elite in order to constantly beat the elite. Because the idea is to have a winning record against the elite. Not beat them once every 8, 9, 10 times. No. That's what happens in the NFL normally. That you once in a blue moon, that you're a mediocre average team, that you beat an elite team once in a while. You shock them. That kind of stuff. Like you used to shock Brady every once in a while. That kind of stuff. That's not what we want here. So when you look at this game, there's a lot of, challenges. One, obviously, you got to beat a great team, a team that's won a Super Bowl against a Super Bowl winning coach, something that Tua does a lot, by the way, which is another chance to get another win against a Super Bowl winning coach here. It's a great opportunity. And for all of us, right? Because I can say us as, see, most of the people that do these pregame shows or write or whatever, they're not real Dolphin fans. They come from somewhere else and, they act all that. I live it, eat it, breathe it, love it, just like you guys. I personally want it. I personally want to see this team cross the threshold. Fans, they deserve it, man. They deserve it. And we deserve to see this team consistently be in there with the elite. That's the important part, dude. That's when we know that we've really arrived. It's nice to be 6-2, but it's better to be 7-2 and you beat Kansas City. You beat Philadelphia. You're consistently beating Buffalo. Okay? I'm not saying you got to get back to when I was a kid that we won 20 straight against Buffalo. Yes, it happened. Yes. Yeah, for like 10 years straight, we won against Buffalo. Didn't lose a game. I'm not talking about that. It would be nice. If you guys want to go on a 10-year streak against the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots, I would love that. Now, that's not realistic, but my point is you not only have to start winning against Buffalo, you got to start winning consistently against Buffalo. And these are the thresholds. This is part of what it is today. Because if they lose today, we go, oh, man, it's still a good team, but it's not a great team. And it's the theme that I've been on for several weeks now. It's not about being good. We've seen the Dolphins be good. For decades, we haven't seen them be great. And in order to get to that threshold of being great, you need to adjust when you've been stifled. And you need to start beating these elite teams. So that's what this game is all about. That's what this challenge is all about for the Miami Dolphins. This is why we're up this early in the morning to watch this thing. You know what I mean? This is why most of us did not sleep well. And all I'm doing is adding more to my Benicio del Toro bags. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Let me see. What do we got here? Who was first? Jamie Zorrilla. Wow, out in San Jose was first. You are awesome, Jamie. Says, I hope everybody's as excited for the game as I am. Can't sleep. Remember to smash the like button. Fins up, everybody. My man's in San Jose. That's what I love about SoCal Derek. He's out there in Southern California. A little butthurt, but at least he's up. I see Miami Papo, Joseph Fortina, Josh MK, Steven Gonzalez, Joseph Fontina again, Eric Scott, Taylor Roche, Nikki Davis, Magnus, Chris Henley. Any betting guys in here? Hey, by the way, you're all welcome. We told you to take the over in the Heat game on Friday. You're welcome. Made you a little extra money like we do. Are you riding Immutable X with me in crypto? Boy, that thing is riding. Woo! Yeah, baby. Illuvium folks out there. Cosmos climbing. Oh man. The bull market is going. Miami Kid J is in. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And let's check the Venmo here. And we got Adam Hernandez on the Venmo. Thank you. Oh, I have a good feeling about this one today. So do I. I know I've picked them against the Bills and against the Eagles. So I know it's been kind of a homerish pick for me, but I really feel that's why I was so pissed with the Bills game. I really feel this is an elite team. I really feel I've told you guys this already. Told you this is the best front office since probably the 70s. Okay. And this is the best roster since the early 90s. And if you start beating these teams, then we're going into the 80s. Okay. This team has all the potential, and I'm with you. And I'm picking them again today against the Chiefs. So, Adam Hernandez, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation, which, those are our favorite. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. You can make a Bitcoin donation. Send in your questions, comments, complaints, all that good stuff. Crypto is climbing and metals besides gold is falling. Yeah, because gold, you can't carry it around anywhere, bro. You can send $1 billion of Bitcoin across the state, across the world in 2 seconds. Can't send $1 billion of gold. It's just not like that. And then you got to wire everything through banks and all that. Crypto eliminates all of that, eliminates all the middlemen, eliminates all the banking fees. It frees you up. You see how banks now are going to start to limit how much money you can take out at one time. They're trying to avoid bank runs because they don't have your money. You think they have all your money. They don't have all your money. It's a problem. So that's why custodial wallets and crypto is going to take over, because we will control our own money. We will not be putting it in banks anymore, because all they do is mismanage it. So, but time, everybody will learn about it and get educated and all that stuff. Right now, people aren't educated on it. By the way, Safid Dean and David Furones will join us in the post-game show. Safid and especially David Furones will join us fresh from the locker room. So we'll talk to him. The Chefs, by the way, are only favored by 1. This is gone. And let me tell you, on Monday, it was the Chefs 2.5. Tuesday, it was 2. Wednesday, it was 2.5. Thursday, it was 1.5. Friday it was 2. Today it's 1. Money's coming in on the Dolphins. So a lot of people are believing in the Dolphins right now, like you and I. Over and unders 50.5. Miami is minus 102. And the Chefs are minus 118. I took it early in the week. I took Dolphins plus 2.5. I like the Dolphins in this one. And we get some great news. Teron Armstead is back. Connor Williams is back. By the way, Teron Armstead was activated, and Brendan Peely from Soft USC. Sorry, Derek. Sorry. Did that hurt? The whole USC soft thing? Did that hurt? I'm sorry. Told you were going to be put through the blender today. Anyway, Brendan Peely, who I kind of like, kind of a nice project. It'll be interesting to see if he can clear waivers and they can sneak him back onto the practice squad, because I think that's what they're going to want to do. But because of hand and some of the other stuff going on, they must be happy. And Brendan must be still too green. But anyway, Connor Williams will be back. X-Man will be back. So that's good. You don't get your guards back. Isaiah Wynn's not going to come back. Who knows if he can even come back. But it's going to be a long time. Hunt with the hamstring was not activated. Craycraft also was downgraded too with the shoulder. So you have your guards are out. Okay. This is like your 6 different offensive line unit that you've used. But I got to tell you something. Remember the conversation I told you that was kind of forced upon me from the building? Like, they said, when are we going to get the benefit of the doubt with the offensive line? And I had no answer for that one, because they were right and we're wrong. We're all wrong. You know what I mean? We have to change our attitude about the offensive. I get it. We've been beaten down with the bad offensive line for 20 years and all that. These guys know how to coach. These guys know how to develop. Everybody's gotten better. Even Liam Eichenberg has gotten better now in helping out as a backup. I'm not justifying his draft pick. He hasn't been able to do that. But 2 of the 3 did, in Hunt and in Austin Jackson. But what I'm saying is they're actually getting something out of Liam also. So Lester, I know he got thrown in there and he kind of struggled a little bit in that first outing, but he did all right in his second outing, and now he's got another outing out there. And Robert Jones has been a serviceable player. You've gotten stuff out of these guys. And I'm not as concerned. It sucks not to have Hunt and Wynn out there. Trust me. But I'm not as concerned, because I've got Armstead back. You got Connor back. And Austin has been playing his ass off. He's actually been the anchor of the damn line, dude. How about that? Austin Jackson, from most maligned to the most consistent on the team right now. He is the guy that plays every week, plays well, and is durable, and has hung in there every single week. So we got to give Austin Jackson a lot of love, and we got to give the offensive personnel for the Miami Dolphins. Okay, Butch Berry, Frank Smith, Mike McDaniel. It takes all of them. Coaching, scheming, and everything, education, all of it. That's the only way they're executing the way they're executing. So we have to now change our attitudes about, how we look at the offensive line. And I don't necessarily look at it as a panic mode anymore when somebody else comes in. Because now I'm thinking, okay, these guys know how to coach these guys up. They'll make them look better than what they are. They do the things that Mario Cristobal can't do for the University of Miami. His coaching doesn't really, lift his team. Let's just call it like we see it. You know what I'm saying? But that's where that has changed. And so today we've got all the good news about Connor and Teron Armstead. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Robert Hunt back. Isaiah Wynn is gone for a while, but I'm feeling pretty good, overall with some of that news, man. It's actually really, really positive. By the way, do want to remind you, Baptist Health is the official sports medicine provider for the Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins. They've got a new facility right there in the Dolphins Hard Rock facility. It's also open to the public, too. Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, FIU, FAU, Orange Bowl, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami Open Tennis, Miami Marathon, and half marathons. So make sure you check out the place that the Alzugaray family visits a lot. My wife was just in there with bleeding ulcers. So actually a bleeding ulcer. She had 4 ulcers, but 3 of them weren't active volcanoes. One of them was only the active volcano. Austin Jackson could be a Pro Bowler this year. Holy crap, yeah. He is definitely doing it. Taylor Swift, I broke the news over a week ago. Her tour is starting, so she's not there. She's going to be preparing for her tour, okay? So, we give you all the insight on this show. Nobody gives you better insight on the Dolphins than we do, okay? And we even give you Taylor Swift insight. Okay? There you go. Is today the day Mahomes loses to Vic Fangio defense? We will see. We will see. Let's see. Did you hear that Taylor Swift waved at a boy yesterday, but he didn't wave back, so she will have a new album coming out tomorrow? That must have been SoCal Derek who didn't wave back. She must have said something bad about USC, and SoCal Derek must have gotten all bent out of shape with it. Because, oh, my God, you said something bad about USC. What's your favorite team, Taylor? So I don't know. So just be careful. If you say anything bad about USC, SoCal Derek will take it really personal. Okay? Phinz today and then beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Taylor Swift will write a hit-em-up song at the Dolphins after. Yep. Waddle has a 70% catch rate. Stop hating on the bro. And he drops too many, bro. There's no hate. Listen, this is not the show for the emotional crippled Dolphin fan. Okay? If you don't want to hear stuff like, hey, when they hired Joe Philbin, I'll tell you he's a bust. He can't do anything. He won't be able to build a staff. That's just the way it goes on this show. Vontae Davis gets drafted. I'll tell you, he's immature. He can play, but he's immature. In the middle of a winning streak, we'll tell you Flo's going to get fired. You're not going to want to hear what you want to hear all the time on this show. That's just the way it goes for 30 years. Live with it, dude. That's it. It's the honesty. Sorry. We got the inactives. Robbie Chosen is inactive. Robbie Chosen. The media was going crazy for Robbie Chosen. I told you he would struggle to even make this team. Okay? And he's barely used. Why? Because I saw what I think nobody in the media saw. He's not a football player. He's just an outside receiver that can run like the wind. And if you can use that one skill set, you're good. He's Duncan Robinson before Duncan Robinson the last year and a half. Put it that way. Because Duncan Robinson took it upon himself. I got to learn how to do other things and play better and play a more well-rounded game. Robbie Chosen never figured that out. Robbie Chosen reminds me of Des Bryant when he got cut. Said, I got to start working on my route running. Dude, you're 8 years in the league. You're going to work on your route running now? Stay ad-lib, bro. That's who you were your whole career. That's who you are. Skylar Thompson is your third quarterback. Kelvin Joseph is the other guy. Brandon Jones, unfortunately, and Robert Hunt. Those are your inactives. You're not going to hear what you just want to hear on this show. We're not going to do that. Just because we love the Dolphins, we're not giving you just what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. William Quigley is in the house. Big O dealing with these kids today in high school can give anyone 4 ulcers for sure. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's because the parents at home have created monsters because there's no discipline at home. That's the problem. Big O, hear me out. I think this O-line is better than the unicorn. Oh, God, yes. Yes. I don't even have to finish your statement. They both had injury prime players and great players, but this one is deeper. The Unicorns didn't have any depth. Yeah, they weren't even 5. These guys are 5 when they're playing. These guys are 6 because of Kendall Lamb. Actually, and if Cotton now continues to play better, then you're 7. And if Robert Jones fills in, you're 8. There's depth here. There's coaching. There's a scheme. I love what I'm watching now. I'm watching it's when I watch Saturday, I watch remedial football coached by an offensive lineman who's conservative, and there's no creativity, there's no balls, there's no nothing. And then I watch Sundays, and I watch an innovative man who changes the game, who influences his players, who influences the league. You know, that's, like I said, man, I'm 57. I watch Shula. I watch Riley. I watch Ron Frazier. I watch Fern Labate. I watch Danny Price. I've been in this town forever, dude. I've watched all the teams. I know what a coach looks like when I see Spo. I know what Mike McDaniel is when I see him. I know what real coaching looks like. I've been taught what real coaching looks like because of growing up. I watched real coaches, real managers. I know Ron Frazier can't be called a manager because it's college, it's a coach, but just people that understood the business, the profession, the player, the media. I saw it all, dude. I know the people that know how to handle all this stuff the right way. And when I see, Mike McDaniel on Sundays, and then I watch Mario Cristobal on Saturdays, it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Seriously, is the gap that big? And it is. It's enormous. Because you think about what Howard Schnellenberger had to do. Talk about a difference maker. What he did at Louisville, what he did at FAU, all that. These are human beings that are just more than just coaches and leaders. And that's why I love what I see from McDaniel, and why the potential I see from McDaniel that I never saw from Adam Gase, that I just never saw from Flo, never saw from Joe Philbin, and why I quit on a lot of those guys very early and said, that's it. Because I'm tired of watching what a really good coach looks like, what a real difference maker looks like. Anybody like Barry Switzer can just, ride Jimmy Johnson's talent and coaching staff to a title. Sure. But he could never do it and build it on his own because he's not Jimmy Johnson. So it just takes a lot, man. Let's go with the inactives with the Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, BJ Thompson, Mike Caliendo, the comedian. I'm joking. Neil Farrell, Malik Herring. Those are your inactives for Kansas City. I was hoping for Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Kelsey to be on the inactive list, but didn't happen. Kind of sucks. Sweet Baby Ray says, good morning, shocked to see how lame and conservative the offense has been for the Canes. Last year was the same crap. Maybe Josh Gaddis had his hands tied. It's Dave Wannstedt. Dave Wannstedt. You can bring Norv Turner in. He ain't going to open it up. I told you guys the story, right? So the guys for Dave Wannstedt, okay, didn't matter who the coaches were because he had a couple of different coaches, offensive coaches. When the team would cross the 40, okay, then you're hitting the 35, they'd hear in their headsets, all right, guys, we're in field goal range. Let's make sure we take care of the football. It's all Dave Wannstedt would say. But then as a coach, you're like, man, I this play's a little riskier, but I can't because coach wants to take care of the football. When you have a coach say, punting's not a crime, you can't win. And to me, Mario Cristobal, it doesn't matter who because the guy he has is an air raid guy, right? All right. He's supposedly this guy is innovative and going to open it up and yada, 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 and all that stuff. And are they opening it up? No, they're not. So if you have a conservative head coach, the people under him, they're not going to go anywhere. William Quigley is on here. You know why his business has grown? Because he's an aggressive mofo. He's got like 70 trucks. He dominates South Florida. Aggressive, growing constantly. Great mind for business. This is why Cutter's Edge Pro is the best. When you want to call for your home, your business, you're going to call Cutter's Edge Pro. You're going to see their trucks all over the place. You're going to go, these people must be, damn right, they're really good. It's the reason why everybody's calling their ass. You got to be, if you want to be great, you got to think it that way, man. You got to want to be it. And if you play the conservative route, sure, your company might grow a little bit, but you're not going to be the best. No. To be the best, you got to challenge the best. You got to take them on. You got to outgrow them. That's exactly what they've done. That's exactly what Baptist Health has done. Craig Zinn has been in the automotive business forever, like Pac-Man. Bam, 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 Fisker, whatever, all kinds of different automobiles over the years. Let's add Subaru. Let's add Lexus. Let's add Toyota. You want to be the best? You got to be aggressive, man. The Toyota of Hollywood that they've got there on off of 441. That's the biggest dealership, I think, in the country, if I'm correct. It's out of control. The parking lot that they have, that it's like 10 floors high, it's full of cars, man. Because Zinn said, yeah, I'm going to have the best Toyota dealership there is on the planet. So when people walk in, they're going to be able to pick whatever hell they want to, because we got all the damn cars. That's, it's part of the game. And that's why I told you that McDaniel, I love McDaniel, but he has a test that he needs to start passing on a consistent basis. That's the beauty of today's game. That's the beauty of today's game. Yeah, got to slow down Kelsey. Yes. That I agree with, my friend. They gotta slow him down in a big time way. Cutter's Edge Pro, to be the best, you got to beat the best. That's it, baby. That's why they are the best, because they've beaten them all. Any guests? No, I don't do the guests during the pregame. Ron, we've done the guests all week long, bro. What more can I get from a guest right now at this point? You know what I mean? So I do the pregame show pretty much myself. We have the guest on the postgame because that's what's developed. We've already talked and out. We've talked this whole thing out. So I pretty much handle the pregame show overall. Maybe once in a blue moon, I might have a guest for something, but at this point, there's nothing new to report. Now, I'll give you what we give you on this show is the kind of insight that you're not going to get anywhere more often than not, even from our insiders. Or writers or TV or radio people that might be in town. Let's go over Jalen Ramsey, okay? Because there's this, what I believe is silliness that goes out there Oh, I want Ramsey to go shadow Kelsey all over the place. And we kind of filled you in a couple of weeks ago that is not Fangio's style. Fangio is going to keep his guys on the corners, okay? Plus, you have to then trust everybody. Because if you do shadow one person, then everyone else has to adjust to everything else going on. And it becomes one hell of a challenge. They've had to learn his defense. Now they're learning his defense. X just got back from a groin injury. They're not going to do that. Now, if Kelsey ends up lining up in front of Ramsey, then Ramsey can cover him. But if he's going to be inside on the slot, I would imagine Kohu will be the guy, and I would bracket him with Holland. That's what I would do. I would leave my stud corners outside alone on an island and let them handle whoever the hell is in front of them. Okay? I don't care who it is. If it's Cole Hardman, Shea, what was it? Rasheed Rice, right? Sky Moore, whatever it is. Handle that stuff. Okay? Now, here's what nobody will tell you, and we'll give you kind of maybe a little insight. Okay? We're in early November, last time I checked, right? Sean, last time I checked, this is November 5th, correct? Right? Early November. So if you were going to do something like that, why would you do that now? So if you wanted to surprise somebody by putting Ramsey on them and lock them down for a play or two or a series, because I don't think they would do that for a game at all, why would you take that extra out now? Why would you show it now? Why wouldn't you save it for the AFC Championship game or the divisional, wherever the hell you end up meeting the Chiefs? I'm wondering. Just wondering. So just for the people out there, right? His defense is not built that way in the first place. So all the people talk about following around, it's not built that way. So you're not really discussing it on an educated level when we're talking about his defense. Because just because Ramsey's done it doesn't mean Fangio does it. But let's just say, for shits and giggles, for shits and giggles, if you wanted to do it, why would you do it in November 5th? This is why most of the media, right, doesn't understand football, doesn't understand what's going on, doesn't really have the insight, right? And then this is why they shouldn't also be coaching, because they can't think big picture. Remember how when we talk investments on our show, what do we always tell you? It's not about the what? It's not about the micro. It's about the macro, right? Right? The person that doesn't know anything about investments, right? And you tell them about Bitcoin, they'll go, oh, but it was 68 and now it's down. They don't understand that was just a small pump and it went back down. But if you looked at the 15-year, if you looked at it macro, all Bitcoin does is go up. The trajectory is only up. Never doubt, you're going to have some volatility in the micro, but in the macro, you're only going up. You just hang in there with the volatility. Eventually, all it does is go up. And that's the difference. It's not about the micro. It's about the macro. So why would I shadow him right now? That would be catastrophically stupid at this point. You have a good enough defense to win this game without having to do that. So you don't do it normally, so it's not going to happen today. But this is all media driven. Always. Oh, no, they're dying to trade for Dalvin Cook. No, they're not. No, they're not. They've never been dying to trade for Dalvin Cook. They were never dying to sign Dalvin Cook. They were never dying to trade. this is all media driven. And then you guys follow all this stuff. Yet it's not facts. But they have to get clicks. That's why they'll tell you, oh, should they sign La'el Collins? Just to get you to read, because the offensive line is such a sore spot. You will read, even though there'll be no interest in La'el Collins. DJ Fluker. They have no interest in DJ Fluker whatsoever. Like Miami, many in the league, because I've been told, they don't trust his knees whatsoever. But, you know, it gets clicks. It gets views. So they'll write it. They'll talk about it. Even though it's not true. And it just doesn't make any sense. So what I would do, personally, Kohu, get physical with his ass on the line and have Holland on the top. Again, I don't know if he's going to want to do that. Maybe he just wants to keep it inside the zone. Maybe the other safety may end up being the guy that picks him up if he's on one side, or Holland on the other side. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to play. We're going to see. But what I know this is it won't be Ramsey and it won't be blanketing it. I just don't see that happening. And it just does. And if you're going to do that, it's not going to be a game thing. It'll be a situational thing, and that'll be in the playoffs. When your team already knows your defense inside and out, which that's not yet. So by that time, you're already an entire season in, and now you can kind of get crazy a little bit. And hey, guys, if we're in a pickle, then we're going to do this specifically for this series so we can slow down Kelsey. But right now, you got to see how this defense can handle that. But the shadowing of Kelsey just makes no sense today at all. And again, just that's one trick you got to keep. Again, because Fangio doesn't do it normally, it'll definitely be a surprise if you whip something out like that in the playoffs. But whipping it out now, it's useless. How's that Dalvin Cook signing working out for the Jets? Yeah, it's fantastic. Did anyone else see Tyreek speed walking football on the field in the NFL game day? Yes. And by the way, you saw him surprise that Chiefs fan out on the street. He had like a disguise, and then he took off the disguise, and the guy freaked out that it was Tyreek Hill and all that. That was good. That was good. Let's see. Merry Christmas, Phinz fans. Open your presents. It's a win, says Diggum Snacks. Ivan Diaz says, seen Patriots for 20 years. Take away their best player. Yeah. Big O, when are you going to coach? Canes need a coach. Yeah, no, I can't coach. I can tell you who can coach and who can't coach. That I can tell you. But I can't coach. I can tell you who to hire, but I can't coach. Because I wrote a nice article about 5 years ago. Yeah, about 5 years ago. And said, fire Gase, fire Tannenbaum, and hire Chris Greer. I can tell you who to hire. But I can't coach. I wish. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't. I don't know if I want that job. God. You can't count your chickens before they hatch, Big O. A lot can happen in 9 weeks. What are we? I don't know. What chicken am I counting? Are you saying like the Dolphins in the playoffs? Is that what we're talking about? Big O, please do the Dave Wanstead voice again. I almost fell off my chair in tears. You have it balls freaking down, man. Yeah, guys. Listen. We're gonna face the Kansas City Chiefs today. Yeah, he's a really good man, by the way, but not a good coach. Definitely not. Scotty, hey Thaler. Hey, whip out that early morning overseas Frankfurt hog. Rooster McDaniel and the Finns need to wash away that BS Tobacco Road caca from last night. Scotty, you're changing your tune about TVD and the Canes now, huh? You've gotten the real taste of what's going on, unfortunately. God, man, those of us that wanted Mario, he's just letting us down so badly, dude. So badly. It's ridiculous. By the way, the great folks at Sloman's Home Shield, we're in over 14 states. 1-800-ALARM-ME. If you want a free doorbell camera, make sure you tell them that Big O Show sent you, folks. When you use our professional installation and low-cost central station monitoring, we're also going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. Listen, man, they've been protecting Americans for over 100 years. Please call Sloman's Home Shield. And they do more than just protecting your home. They also keep your home nice and warm with a little heating oil. And we are now headed into winter, right? It's already cold in some spots up north. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Call them, see if they're in your state. You know what you're spending a month. They have fixed prices, which will save you hundreds, folks. Do it now. Tell them that the Big O Radio Show sent you. Call our friends at Sloman's Home Shield, 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Call them now and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. Sloman's Home Shield. All right. Let's get to our 3A Graphics Sports Calendar with Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics. If you need custom printing and embroidery, you reach out to them, 786-618-1443. That's 786-618-1443. Last night, NC State embarrassed the Canes, although can they be any more embarrassed? I don't know. But Mario Cristobal his coaching is embarrassing. 20-6, losing to another inferior opponent because of bad coaching. Next week will be a slaughter against number 4 FSU on Saturday. 7:30 Monday, Lakers are taking on the Heat. Panthers lost to the Chicago Blackhawks last night, 5-2. Florida's 5-4-1. They will take on Columbus on Monday at the Amerant Bank Arena. 7 o'clock is the face-off. That is your 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. Well, I certainly don't look forward to the UM game next week. Holy crap. That thing is going to be brutal, dude. Absolutely brutal. Anyway. What else do we have going on? Let me see if we have any questions here. Dude 67, anybody knows that college football knows that when we got Mario, he's a great recruiter, but a terrible game day coach. I didn't think he was this bad. I got to be honest. I got fooled. Sprinkle some sugar on the pancakes. You know, I haven't had any breakfast yet. I'm doing all of this without any breakfast. Is that amazing or what? I got to eat something when I get off the air. Maybe some, you know what? Watch the game while eating some pancakes, a little French toast. Be good. We've done that a couple times. That's what I wanted to do, man. I knew we could go to a bar and fill it up. We've done it a couple times already. That we've done this morning thing, and people come and they have breakfast, man, and it's freaking awesome. TVD should have declared last draft. I actually don't know if he could have. Busta's draft stock is only going down. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't one of those guys that looked at TVD like an NFL guy. I thought at best he might be a backup in the NFL. I never really looked at him like some of you out there. So, you know, it is what it is. Big O is a warrior. Thank you, Holt. That's very nice of you. Turned off Canes and watched Good Dinosaur with granddaughter. Good for you. That's a hell of a move right there. Can't read defenses. Fold when X is covered. No emotions. Injuries can't always be the excuse. Yeah, I got you. Big O, actually, Marcel asked Ramsey how he felt following Kelsey, implying that Fangio had said he was going to happen, and Ramsey's response was, he said that? No, he didn't. Yeah, of course not, because it's not going to happen. I don't know who asked. I saw his response on that. but that's not what he does. I try to tell you guys all this. That just like I feel, remember how I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, some of you out there are just segment people and you only like listen to an interview here, an interview there. And I run into those people a lot on social media and you kind of miss the talk in between. So you end up missing nuggets and information that I tell the listeners all the time. Like that stuff that Fangio doesn't do it. Just like the other misconception. You know how your average Dolphin, your buddy will tell you, oh, dude, we need to get a thumper in there at linebacker. Don't they say that all the time? He doesn't want any of that. He wants the David Longs. He wants guys like Jerome Baker, maybe not Jerome Baker, but guys like him. He wants agile. He wants guys that can move around. He doesn't want a thumper in the middle. He wants lighter linebackers that can run around. That's why David Long was practically approved by him. So, you know how some people, these undersized, this is what he wants. He wants guys that can move. Now, if you happen to find a guy that can fly around, like, let's say, a Ray Lewis, who wasn't a big linebacker, he was a smaller linebacker, but he was a thumper, but he could fly around sideline, Zach. If you find something like that, that's great. But you got to find linebackers that can move in this defense. That's another misconception that the media will feed you, fans will follow, but then we get the information for you and we pass it on. And we tell you exactly what's really going on. We do this all the time. For years, we've done this for you guys. Okay? I get it, man. We don't have the national name. We're not on a national platform. And all I don't have a national brand behind me, pumping me and pushing all my stuff and all. So I get it. We're not going to have that audience. So that's fine. But for those of you that actually listen to the show, not just, a Marcel interview, whatever interview, that interview, and, maybe a rant that Sean puts up, you miss a lot in between. Because, stuff will come up, stories, insight, and I'll tell it in between. Those of you that actually listen to the talk show, you will actually get extra stuff and make some money too, by the way, which making money might be a little important for some of you out there. Dude 67, Canes need to go with Williams. TVD can't read defenses, has multiple injuries, and his confidence is gone, but the Canes do have a lot of talent on the team. Yeah, but if you don't have a coach, it doesn't really matter. Let's see. What do you do in this situation? Dominic asked. If you fire him, recruiting takes a hit. I already told you guys, they'll fire him 4 or 5 years from now, after it's all loaded with recruiting, and then you go get a guy that can actually coach. You have to get deep into the contract so you don't have a lot of dead money. So you're going to have to deal with him for a couple of more years. But at the same time, he'll load it up with talent. And then you can do let's fire Renee Latchman to bring in Jim Leland. Let's fire, what's it called? Kevin Lockery to bring in Pat Riley. Let's okay, we got the guy that can, you got Doug Collins that can take you so far. Let's go get Phil Jackson. You got Del Harris that can take you only so far. Let's go get Phil Jackson. That kind of shit that you've seen over the years with different franchises, that they had a guy that can only take them so far. And then you said, okay, we need that next guy. And I think at least now with Mario, he can build up the structure, build up everything that you need, because he knows exactly what you need, load it up with recruiting. And then once you're about 4 or 5 years into his contract and there's only 3 or 4 left, then you let him go and you go find the guy that knows how to coach talent. David Shula can only take you so far. You then bring in Nick Saban. Comprende, compadre? That's what we're doing here. So Shula brought in recruits. It was actually a team that still had some talent, and actually had talent, I'm saying. But he wasn't the coach to take it over the top. Saban was. So this is what you do now. What they did in Alabama with Shula, you let him load it up and then go get the guy. Again, nobody will tell you that. I'm the only person in the media that will say that and have the foresight to actually think about something like that. That's what you're going to do. If you're the administration, that's what you do. The sad part is we have to deal with it for 2 or 3 more seasons. That's the sad part. Oh, did you see Rich Eisen's comments? Yes, I tweeted it out. I retweeted it, all that. It was fantastic. Eisen talked about, how McDaniel explained to him how he believed in Tua and, and then his coaching style and all that kind of stuff and how he was handling stuff and coming in early for the week, which, by the way, made a lot of sense. Because if you make it to the Super Bowl, you got to take your game on the road. You got to be mobile, right? As the Who would say, going mobile. Well, you got to go mobile. Well, this is a week where you can test it. You can go mobile. So you go in early for the week and you prepare like you would for the Super Bowl. And, I thought it was awesome. And I retweeted it. You can go to my timeline at Big O Show on Twitter. And it's there, and it is excellent, excellent stuff from Rich Eisen. Because he had that meeting, since they were carrying the game, the NFL Network, they had the production meeting with the coach. And he basically said it was the greatest production meeting he had ever had with a coach. Jeff from Long Island says, my game time breakfast is 3 eggs, bacon, sausage, home fries, and cheese on a hero winning Phinz up. Man, today, speaking of winning, today I went with my Chris Chambers jersey. Okay? I whipped out the Zach Thomas Hall of Fame hat, right? You know that I have another one brand new. I bet you in a year or two, if I put it on eBay, I could probably sell it for $200. Probably could, because that it's going to be a collector's item. But anyway, so today I figured, all right, I'll as Scotty Haythaler says, I'll whip out the old hog of the Zach Thomas, and then, of course, we went Chris Chambers. Okay, there you go. Right, got the Chambers. So there you go. Oh, I was able to squeeze it in there. There you go. So let's see if that changes, right? I was wearing the Tua, and I had to change it up. Had to put a little bit more spin on it. And so let's see if this secret sauce here works today. Because if it does, then we're gonna have to use this Chambers jersey for the Bills game. In fact, if it works, I'm going to get Chris Chambers on the show this week. How about that? Just to tell him, hey, this is a new thing now. Now I got to wear your jersey in order for us to win. So let's try that. Okay. I figured, little Chris Chambers action. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. We got EJ Barro with the super chat. He says, I need a thumper and Bambi. There you go. Name the movie. I can't figure it out. I don't know. Don't know. Just don't know. Oh, man. What do we have here? Let me see. Illuvium up almost 16%, approaching $70. Immutable X up almost 19% at 90 cents. Woo! Loving it. Is the roof closed? Well, if it rains, they'll close it. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. I'm not watching it right now, dude. You know what I mean?
It's closed. It is closed.
Oh, it is closed. There you go. There's too much money involved. They're not going to have, something available, a game that is going to get rained on and people traveled from all over the world and all that. They're not doing that. So I told everybody when people were worried about it, I go, no, dude, don't worry about it. They will cover. They're not going to allow this game to get ruined by any elements. And they just won't allow it. So yeah, I wish I could. Badati. What? Yes?
No, I say Razzle Dazzle Crypto in the chat. He's at the game. He was saying the roof is closed. So
Oh, okay. Oh,
And there's a scoreboard that runs down the middle, I guess, like Cowboy Stadium. That punch might hit, possibly.
Okay. All right. There you go. So Razzle Dazzle Crypto's over there. Nice job by him. With the way the crypto market's moving, he's going to easily be able to pay off for that trip. Is Chase Claypool in the same frame of Chris Chambers as a wide receiver? Oh, completely different wide receivers. Completely different wide receivers. Dang, Big O, I'm up early for the game, but it is late. The world seems off today. Glad the team missed it by going halfway around the world. Yep. By the way, don't we get like an hour tonight? Is it tonight where it goes back?
No, it was last night.
Oh, really? So I got an extra hour last night?
Yeah, the phones automatically change now. That's the whole thing. Like everybody's like, don't forget to set your alarm. With the phones now, you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So it went last night. I don't know why I thought it was tonight when it did. All right, there you go. So I ended up getting an hour from this.
Yeah, the problem is everybody says Sunday, meaning it's like 3:00 in the morning on Sunday. So that's
right. It's Saturday late night, which is really Sunday morning. Right. I got you. Yeah, but yes, see, Dola, yes, no post-game show last night. If you follow, you got to follow on Twitter. I put it out. The Twitter and the show, you'll keep up with pretty much everything. Okay. And if you listen to the show, if you're only listening for interviews, then you're going to miss all kinds of stuff, and a lot of, fun facts too, that you'll miss throughout the show. Walrus and Mr. Pfizer are taking that L today. Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. Chase Claypool and Chambers are not the same body type. Chambers was 5'11" with long arms. Claypool is more like Oronde Gadsden, big boy all around. Yeah, but Claypool can run. Oronde can't run. Like Claypool is completely he's a different monster. Claypool is a big, fast human being, dude. He's an impressive person. Let's see if he's a bigger part of the offense today. Are we going to see aliens before the next election? Maybe. By the next election, I could become an alien. So it could happen. It could happen. Where is Bash? I am still rolling from the late 90s, early 2000s. Joe Shad on after the game. No, Green Lion. Joe Shad is on Wednesdays. We will have David Furones and Safadine in the post-game show. Claypool is way faster than Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall was not fast. This guy is fast. Let me see. He's more like Kellen Winslow than any of the guys you've mentioned. He's more like Calvin Johnson than any of the guys you mentioned. He's fast, tall, and a force, bro. This guy's got so much talent. It's sick. Big O, the president of ASU was talking about your show while I was at work Friday. Pretty cool. ASU? Like Arizona State University? The president of ASU? Come on, bro. That's funny. Definitely not true, but funny. Okay. EJ Barro, Thumper and Bambi in Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds are forever. Big O, if you were the Dolphins defensive coordinator for today, who would you have covering Travis Kelce? I already said, I've been saying it all week. I would have Kohu on his ass, locking him up, getting physical with Holland over the top. I'm going to leave my corners all alone. Okay? Hostage drama at Hamburg airport is over, police say. I didn't know there was a hostage situation in Hamburg airport. Okay. Over 500 of us watching. Let's smash that like button. Yes, please. Smash the hell out of that like button. But I would have Kohu and bracket with Holland. You must be tuning in late, and then you're hearing all the people talk about, hey, we're going to have Jalen Ramsey trail him. And we've already talked about that, and I explain why that doesn't make any sense and all kinds of stuff. Razzle Dazzle Crypto says the stadium here is like SoFi. So weather temperature comes into effect. Oh, yeah, but those guys playing football, it's not that cold. It's in the 50s, right? If I'm correct there, Razzle Dazzle Crypto, that for football players, the 50s is not going to really take into effect. Now, if it's 20s, then maybe, but if the wind and the rain and the sleet and the snow isn't really a part of it, you're all right. Will we see Chris? No, Chris Brooks is still injured. I think he's not back yet. He's on IR. And I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't mind the Germany-London games, but damn, I feel bad for the people on the West Coast who have to wake up for the 6:30 kickoff. Yeah, we have a couple of them right here. I mean, Jesus, we have some of the SoCal Derek is, one of the more loyal guys out there, butthurt USC fan, but, and then, of course, we have our friend in San Jose who really knows how to get it done because he is, as we like to say, rock solid. That's when, Jamie Zorea is as rock solid as they get. Big O, I think the Dolphins protect the ball, minimize penalties. They can beat KC. I also agree with you about McDaniel needs to ascend in his adjustments when his opponents stifles his team. Yeah, these are little things that he has to grow into. No big deal. You know what I mean? Leon Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. Go Phinz. We need a big Jerome Baker game chasing down Mahomes. NC State money line was free cash last night. Yeah. Yeah, and taking the points too. Right? Because the Canes were favored. I mean, they've got to be freaking out in Vegas on how bad they are at trying to guess what the hell they're going to get from the Canes. Robert Villare. Right? Because I made it sound Spanish instead of Italian. Waked, baked, and ready to go. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you, my brother, as always. You are awesome on Venmo. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can send your questions, your comments, like Robert just did there. And remember, we get 100% of the donation on Cash App or Venmo. YouTube likes to take 30% away from us on the super chat. Listen, if you want to make a super chat, that's great. But you can also make a Bitcoin donation on Cash App or Venmo and send in your question or comment. And we always appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm pulling out my Chad Pennington number 10 jersey, says Ernesto. Let's see if this brings out the old gods of Dolphins football. We got to try whatever, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got to try whatever you did for the Eagles and the Bills game. Do something a little different. Wear a different hat. If you wear the same jersey, wear a different jersey. If you have a certain amount of beers, have one less or one more. I'm not encouraging drinking. Okay, please drink responsibly. All right. If you had a certain amount of wings, well, eat one more or one less. Or if you had a certain type of wings, have another type of wings. Wings this early in the morning, that's strong on your part, by the way. Beer this early in the morning, strong on your part, by the way. Strong. Change it up. Do whatever it takes to save your fish. Okay? So I'm just saying, I changed it up today. You need to change it up today. Teron Armstead is back. No Isaiah Wynn, no Robert Hunt. So Robert Jones and damn it, now I'm forgetting Lester Cotton. We'll have to get it done. We talked about stopping Travis Kelce. We told you why. You won't see Ramsey. You can go, back to listen to that if you want. Tyreek's motivation. It's going to be fun tonight or today to see Tyreek against his old team. Okay? Because there's a lot of factors in all of this. And I'll tell you, okay, you saw early this year when they took on the Chargers, right? And McDaniel got stifled by the Chargers the year before. And he didn't have an answer for it right away, which was, a little knock on him. And that's something that he's got to, fix, do a better job, making adjustments. Hey, listen, the guy on Saturday doesn't even make a game plan. Anyway, so everybody was talking about what was the theme. Oh, Brandon Staley took away the middle of the field. And it was hard, this, that, pop, 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 pop. What did he do? He attacked specifically the middle of the field. Because he had the whole offseason, a game plan for it and all that, right? So today, Tyreek is going to be motivated. He's going to be in that huddle wanting the football. He's going to try to get as open as he possibly can. He's going to be ultimately motivated. But then McDaniel also knows that he is going to be ultimately motivated. So how much does McDaniel on his own scheme a little extra to help Tyreek look even better? Tyreek is playing the best football of his life, better than he ever played under Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, right? He's in the MVP conversation. So that's a way of McDaniel showing off his skills and Tua also at the same time. Not that they're better than Reid and Mahomes, because we know they are the standard that is set right now in the league. We know that. But, this is a kind of way to, show off your wares. But at the same time, this is a way for McDaniel to show off his IQ against the king of offensive IQ, which is Andy Reid. Nobody better in the business. I mean, that guy loses Tyreek, and they go and have more yards and win a Super Bowl without Tyreek. That's freaking impressive. And then Tua knows it too. So how much will Tua kind of force the issue? You know what I'm saying? That'll be actually kind of funny to see how that goes. So it's interesting to see all the things that are involved in the Tyreek trying to have a great game against his former team. And I know he talked about it this week, that he wished it was in Arrowhead with all of the emotion of Arrowhead and all that, which it would have been really cool actually to watch. Would have been really, really cool. Selfishly, I got to tell you guys something. While it sucks to get up this early in the morning, I love that our Dolphins are the centerpiece of the NFL right now. And that NFL fans all over the world are waking up to watch this game because it's the only game that's on. And, there's a lot of things that come with what we've watched so far happen. And I think McDaniel this week, his personality, I think he won a lot of German fans over, right? The media, obviously, he wins everywhere he goes when it comes to media because he is so savvy and media friendly. And then I think our Dolphins, right? Look, KC's won 2 Super Bowls. They've been to 3. So their bandwagon is overloaded all over the world. We all know that. So, they're going to be well represented. I think you're going to see a well representation of Kansas City. I was watching Peter King. I don't know how much he really got around, to be quite honest, not to take a shot or anything. but he was saying some bullshit that it was like 100-1 Chiefs to Dolphins. I have a hard time believing that, to be quite honest, that it's 100-1. Our fan base it may not be bigger than the Chiefs for this game because, again, the Chiefs have been winning so much that when you're on this kind of a roll, we got this when the big three was going. People were all, loading up on the bandwagon, so it should be. But I think that the Dolphins are going to gain a bigger fan base coming out of this. I think the German public is going to say, wow, these guys came here an entire week early. A lot of them acclimated themselves to us. They even tried to learn some of our language and everything. So they ingratiated themselves to us. I think a lot of German fans are going to become Dolphins fans. I think there's that marketing wise, I think the Dolphins did a phenomenal job this week getting there. And let me tell you something. Let's get into another thing. It will not be the determining factor why you win. No. But make no mistake, any of us that have traveled, and you've traveled time zones, Sean, you've done it with me several times, and I'm sure you've done it on your own. All of us that have traveled time zones, it F's with you, dude. And it takes you a little bit to kind of get adjusted. And that's a 5-hour time zone switch. For the Chiefs, it's 6. And they got there on Friday. They're not adjusted by Sunday. I can tell you that for a fact. I know they're world-class athletes, so they can handle it way better than you and I. I understand all of that. But they're facing world-class athletes. See, that's the part that everybody, it's so easy, right? They always tell you, well, dude, they're world-class athletes. So they can handle it, like I just told you, better than you and me. And you end the conversation there. Nobody ever says, well, but they're also facing world-class athletes. And they're going to be adjusted. And they're going to be well-rested. Hard to beat that. So it's not the reason why you will win the game. But Miami will have a slight advantage. They have to. It just comes with the territory. Anybody that's traveled, you switch time zones, it takes you days to adjust. And then when you come back, it takes you days again to readjust. And you're just not the same. It's normal. It happens to all of us, even world-class athletes. But the thing is, the Kansas City Chiefs aren't playing my fat ass. If they were playing my fat ass, well, then they're going to beat me every day and twice on Sundays, and they're really going to kill us by, 5-6 hours time difference, and I haven't adjusted. No doubt, but they're not playing me. So I'm lucky. I don't need to suffer all kinds of broken bones and embarrassments, but they're facing another team that is world-class athletes, and they're going to be well-rested. So Miami will have a slight advantage, and it might pay off in the fourth quarter. It might. Put it this way. For the person that brought up the elements, more important will be the time adjustment for Miami than the temperature. Will be a bigger factor in this game than anything else. None of the elements will come close to the fact that Miami has been there all week. That is going to be one huge advantage for Miami. And it's just a normal thing, man, that you can't answer. Let's see what we got here. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Abner, thank you for the love on Cash App. He says, for a Miami win, Big O, I ordered an early bird special win. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you. That is very nice of you. Let me see here. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. And by the way, that was very nice of you, brother. Because I think that's Bitcoin you sent me, right? Yeah, you sent me Bitcoin. Thank you, sir. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Mr. Farias, let me see. Where are we at here? Pedro Farias on Cash App. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you immensely. He says, for big Phinz up pregame, Café Cubano, shots first time. Thank you, Pedro. I appreciate you immensely, sir. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. George Albany says, Big O, my ass is still bleeding from the grilling you gave me when I put down Mario hiring that day. I do admire how you admit to mistakes. Very honorable and only confirms that only Jesus is perfect. Amen to that. We ain't perfect. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. I haven't given up on Mario, by the way. But I have to admit, he sucks as a game day coach. What am I going to do, bro? Everything else I love about the guy. He's a great human being, a great leader, a great man for your kids. What's it called? A custodian. I think you want to have a good influence. A guy like that, he can recruit his ass off. Nobody's going to outwork him. All of that, but game day coaching, oh my God, he leaves so much to be desired. Zachary says, I am not confident the Dolphins will win today. They are frauds against good teams until they show me otherwise. Until then, I can't say I trust them to win today. The Philly game was not a fraudulent performance. I disagree with you there, Zachary. You need to go watch that game again. They played a pretty damn good game overall. I was actually pretty impressed overall with the defense. They got jobbed on a bunch of bad calls. I didn't know how bad it was until after I watched the film. And especially that dude that put together all of some of them I didn't even see myself. And then he shined the light on them. And I really thank him for that. I wish I could remember the name and credit the man for putting it together. The Bills one, I'll tell you, was a fraudulent one. That you can't perform like that. I am pissed to the highest extent in the Bills one. You guys know it. You watched it. You know it. Okay? But I disagree with you on the Eagles one. I think there was serious progress being made there. That's why I'm convinced they're going to win today. I think the defense is primed for a performance today. I really do. Not shut down because you don't shut down Mahomes, dude. He's too good. God, he is good. But I think you are going to limit him. Yeah, I do. I think you are. And I think this offense is going to, score its share of points. I think they're going to win today, man. Let me tell you something. Today, what I'd like to see, it's time for Jalen Phillips, folks. This is the kind of game against an elite quarterback that is athletic, that can move around. This is the game for Jalen Phillips to say, I have arrived. Okay? Really proud of Bradley Chubb because at the same time, like you said, sir, that, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, which I'm more than willing to admit when I'm wrong because I'm going to be wrong a bunch. I'll be right a ton, but I'll be wrong too. Okay? We also have to be fair. And while Bradley Chubb was not playing well early, he was basically stealing money since he got traded here. Last couple of weeks, we've seen a different Bradley Chubb. Okay? And maybe AVG lit a fire on everybody and said, I'm coming for your job. But we're watching a different Bradley Chubb, and what I want to see today, finally, I need to see Jalen Phillips cross that threshold. We all like Jalen Phillips, the person. He's impossible not to like. He's impossible not to root for. You love his motor. The kid works hard. Fantastic human being. No trouble in the off seasons. No trouble off the field. Total team player. But we need the threshold now. We need you to cross the threshold we know you can be. We know you can be a special pass rusher. It's time. And this is the kind of game that a young man like this is the kind of stage that he needs in order to become that guy. And so I'm hoping that Jalen Phillips, and when I look at this matchup, Phillips and Chubb, okay, Phillips is going up against Jawan Taylor. You know, the Chiefs don't allow a lot of sacks, and that's because it's kind of like Miami. Mahomes is smart with the football. He'll get rid of it, or one thing that he can do much better than Tua is use his athleticism to buy even more time with his scrambling, okay? But you're not facing an all-pro tackle in Jawan Taylor. That's a Jags free agent. And then on the other side, Donovan Smith is a Bucs free agent. And Chubb and Phillips need to step up against these kind of guys. But especially Jalen Phillips. We've been getting it from Chubb now lately. It's time for Jalen Phillips, okay? You know, we talk about McDaniel having to answer the bell when they stifle him. We talk about Tua in big moments, and he's had big moments, and he's come through, and he's in the MVP race. And we talk about Tyreek and Teron Armstead and Connor Williams, fix your snapping and this and that. Well, it's time for Jalen Phillips to take it to the next level. It's time. By the way, Solo D, did he do anything? He did? Oh, get me ready for a little Dolphins and Chiefs. Come on, pull it up. Let me get a little Dolphins feeling before I share something else I want to talk about today that I think is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I'll do that. But first, let's hear and see the amazing talents of Solo D.
Woo. Guten Tag. Mein Name ist Solo D.
Die Miami Dolphins werden das Spiel gewinnen. DWA Solo D.
Phinz, smoking on that cheap fat. Fresh up out the wind, just be Bill. Patriots up, need to rebuild. Should've researched, heard speed kill. Shout out Jalen, shout out T Hill. They can't slow us down, tell them be real. On the Autobahn doing speed drills. November Fest, need a refill. Beat the Chiefs overseas, we will. Mute the doubters out, we can't go for none of that. We could be whoever, we got receivers and running backs. Defense got some lumberjacks, tell them miss, I turn the ball. Chiefs in the way, we make them fall like the Berlin Wall. Bitch, it's the Dolphins now, we been winning often now. We the team they talking about. Coach McDaniel's flossing in some off-whites when he walking out. Take the field and call him out. Travis about to take a loss, that's cool, tell him shake it off. Phinz, dog. Phinz, dog. Phinz, dog. Smoking on that cheap fat. Smoking on that cheap fat. Phinz, dog. Phinz, dog. Phinz, dog. Smoking on that cheap fat. Smoking on that cheap fat. Who that? So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep. Let's do it. I be sipping conversation out them little cups. So where we at? Only in day. Everybody, we get it live like the Super Bowl. Everybody, we get it live like the Super Bowl. Only in day.
There we go. Solo D, so good, man. So good. So good. So talented. Oh, thank you, Solo D. Appreciate you. The entire Dolphin Nation around the world appreciates your talents, your skills, and your passion, baby. Jonathan Newman, thank you, sir, for the love. And yes, thank you for the super chat. And of course, Armstead is starting, my man. They activated him not to hang out there This is the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. Connor and the boys in the middle are going to have to deal with Chris Jones. So, yes, Armstead will play today. Thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. Edward Thurston Howe. I hope that Cheetah holds up a peace sign a couple of times today. So do I. So do I, sir. Let's hope so. Another super chat. Mateo Dulio. Ramsey shuts down Kelsey today. I doubt he'll see him much. I don't even know if Ramsey will cover him once, but, whatever. Apparently you guys are falling for, the cheese. That's what it looks like, unfortunately, for some of you. On Venmo, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Hateful Steve is up early in the morning. Oh, refs or not, against Bills and Eagles, Tua got 1 TD, 1 interception in both games. I don't think I'm asking too much to see more today. Of course, you are correct, sir. He's got to come through. Defense has got to come through. What's it called? More than anything, Mike McDaniel's also got to come through too. Because in those games, when you get stifled, you've got to scheme out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the whole thing, man. By the way, let's see how we doing here. Mutable X up 15%, up to 90 cents. Yeah, baby. Illuvium getting to $68. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh, by the way, I'd be remiss if I did not mention our friend Chris Barker. Fan of the year. NorCal's been fan of the year. Big E's been fan of the year. Dolph Freaky was the fan of the year last year. And now Chris Barker out there, baby. I know he's in Germany right now getting ready for the game and all that. But if anybody, sees Chris Barker, make sure you tell him that right here on the Big O Show, Sean and myself wish him and congratulate him, because we see Chris all the time over at camp, and he is as big a Dolph fan as anybody out there and a great human being. And by the way, that's one thing that I keep seeing. NorCal is one of the finest human beings you will ever meet on the planet. Love that dude. And, Big E is as decent a human being as it gets. Dolph Freaky may be one of the most selfless people I have ever seen in my life. She is constantly helping people out in times of need or at tickets or whatever it is. She's doing all kinds of stuff. And Chris Barker is another just incredible human being who happens to also be a terrific Dolphins fan. So congratulations. I don't know who picks these fans for fan of the year, but I want you to know that you're also picking some great human beings at the same time. While you're picking great fans, I want to point out what great human beings these people are also. So congratulations to you, Chris Barker. Much love, my brother. Very well-deserved honor, my friend. Today, we're going to see Trent McDuffie, Joshua Williams, and L'Jarius Sneed. These are the main three corners. Now, one of the things that I'd like to see take advantage of, instead of we talk about the whole Jalen Ramsey silliness, they're going to follow Kelsey around, which, go listen to the beginning and I'll explain to you why that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so one of the things, L'Jarius Sneed is 6 foot. Joshua Williams is 6'3". So you've got big corners on the outsides. In the slot, Trent McDuffie is 5'10". Okay, now this is not a Waddle thing if you put him in the slot. This is not a Tyreek thing if you put him in the slot. This is a Chase Claypool, Cedric Wilson Jr. type thing. Okay? And this is the kind of game, and I keep wondering now. Remember what I told you earlier. Why would you shadow Jalen Ramsey with Kelsey right now? Why would you do that in early November? That's what the media tells you that has no brains. That's what fans tell you that have no brains. But if you had a brain and you think you can whip out Jalen Ramsey on Kelsey, you do it in the AFC Championship game, you moron. You don't do it in early November, dipshit. So what you do here is you attack him with Chase Claypool, a 6'4" monster, and you make Trent McDuffie's life impossible, having to deal with Chase Claypool and having to deal with Cedric Wilson Jr., who has become a bigger part of the offense and is a bigger receiver. That's one of the areas that I would attack the Chiefs. And I keep wondering, remember how I told you, why would you shadow Jalen Ramsey now and give that away and put it on film and give it to the Chiefs when you can save it for the playoffs? Well, right now, maybe that's why you haven't used Chase Claypool that much. Maybe it's because you've been saving him for this game now, and maybe you've got a certain package that you want to use today against the Kansas City Chiefs and use that big body against the smaller nickel corner. So this is something that I would look at and say, maybe, just maybe, that might be used here in this game. I don't know. I might be reaching. You never know. We do that here on the show. Anyway, I'm taking the Dolphins. Okay? They're going to win by 3. 34-31. That's my score. We got a high-scoring affair here. It's going to go back and forth. There's going to be a track meet. I'm going to go 34-31. Miami Dolphins. Sean, what's the prediction?
Pain for the Chiefs. 34-17.
Ooh, doubling it up. I love it. What's the prediction say? Please smash the hell out of the like button. Come on, man. We got 500 people. Let's go. Let's see if we can we get to 500 likes? Come on. Let's go. Can we get to 500 likes? There's 335 right now and 504. If everybody hits it, we get to 500 here before the end. Let's do it for the Dolphins, baby. Let's go. Do it because Sean and I have woken up really early to do this. Okay? So please do it. Jam it. Let's see if we can get to 500. It would be really, really cool. 44-34, 38-35. Let's go. I like Sean's prediction. I love Sean's prediction. A double-dub score would be absolutely fantastic, man. Armstead and Williams returning to the O-line. Great running game again. Chiefs defense has one weakness, run defense. Mostert and Wilson must feast today. I like it. Two beasts in the business, Big O and the Miami Dolphins. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice of you all, man. Very nice. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Hateful Steve comes in again, says, sounds like there's a big difference between NorCal and SoCal on your fans. No, I love them both. I love them both, but I have to make fun of SoCal because he got all butthurt because I took a shot at USC, and then he comes at me with, how about your UM? It's just, I haven't heard that, and I know you are, but what am I? I haven't heard that since I was a child. So I had to just, that's just, it's too funny. SoCal is a beautiful human being. We love him. But I told them I'd put him through the blender today for that because that was weak sauce today. That was so weak sauce today. Really. Incredibly weak sauce on his part. So I can't allow that, Lisa says, obviously Tyreek is our stud, but I feel like so much attention has been placed on him because of this game. Looking forward to Waddle and maybe even Berrios having big games too. Yeah, we just need Waddle to hang on to the balls. He's dropping too many. Big O, this is Super Bowl-esque type of stuff. Thank you, my friend. That's very nice of you. But soon we'll be in the Super Bowl. We've got our place in Vegas. We're set to go. We got a bar in Vegas to broadcast from. Tommy Rocker's, a Dolphins bar. So we're set in Vegas. We are ready to go. You're not the man standing next to the man, Big O. You're the man. Thank you, Andrew. That is very nice of you. All right, we are, what he says, give us a 5-minute pregame rundown for those who just logged in. You won't see Ramsey shadowing anything. Mike McDaniel needs to answer the question. So does this team. They got to beat the elite. Okay. Plus, Mike McDaniel, if he's stifled at one point today, he needs to also show that he can answer the bell. Defense has got to step up in a big-time way. Kohu and Holland, lots of pressure on them to stop Travis Kelce. Okay? And Immutable X is exploding, as I've told you about Immutable X for 2 years now. And Illuvium is now exploding, as I've told you about Illuvium for a couple of years now. Star Atlas got a pump, and we told you about that. And we've been telling you about Bitcoin for a couple of years now, and it is exploding, up over 120%. Number one asset in the last 10 years, Bitcoin. So we've said a lot of things. We've done a lot of things. And now we're going to wrap it up. And we are going to hand it off to you all so you can go gather around your televisions, watch this beautiful matchup between your Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. Please smash the hell out of the like button on the way out. Leave us. Look, you got 406. We didn't get to the 500, man. Come on. Smash it, baby. We'll be back for the post-game show. We'll have Safid Dean with us. We'll have David Furones fresh from the locker rooms. Your reaction after we watch the Miami Dolphins beat on the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see you in a couple of hours. Y'all be good out there. Fins up, baby.
Guten Tag. Mein Name ist Solo D.
Die Miami Dolphins werden das Spiel gewinnen. DWA Solo D.
Look, Phinz, fresh about the win, just beat Bill. Patriots up, need to rebuild. Should've researched, heard speed kill. Shout out Jay Lynch, shout out T Hill. They can't slow us down, tell them be real. On the Autobahn doing speed drills. Novemberfest, need a refill. Beat the Chiefs overseas, we will. Mute the doubters out, we can't go for none of that. We could be whoever, we got receivers and running backs. Defense got some lumberjacks, tell them miss, I turn the ball. Chiefs in the way, we make them fall like the Berlin Wall. It's the Dolphins now, we been winning often now. We the team they talking about. Coach McDaniel's flossing in some off-whites when he walking out. Take the field and call him out. Travis about to take a loss, that's cool, tell him shake it off. Phinz,
smoking on that Chief pack, smoking on that Chief pack. Smoking on that Chief pack, smoking on that Chief pack.
So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Show. From home to kitchen to bathroom additions and remodelings, get in contact with one of the best contractors in the business. Call Eric at EJDconstruction.com, 305-433-4843. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. We'll be back with a complete wrap-up of the game once the last second ticks off the clock. Thank you for your support and enjoy Dolphins football.